Hi,
Okay,
Magda.
I'm here. Hi, Tom.
How are you?
I'm well, but I stuck in the huge traffic jams in the morning, so I thought that I wouldn't be able to get to the office for our meeting, but I'm finally here.
Okay, you're at the office. Okay, cool. Well, so we're on. You're still doing the commute. How many days a week are you working in the office?
Yeah,
Every day?
no, every day, but 3 days during the week I work from the office and 2 days from my home.
Okay, that looks to be like that's probably the new norm, right? After COVID, looks like, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's go. We got. But by the way, before we start on the first news, I wanted to cite a general sort of comment to our listeners: feedback, suggestions, criticism. We need it. We want it. We're doing this every day, kind of the same format. If you all have suggestions and criticisms and ideas, please tell me, tell Magda. We want to make it dynamic, keep it interesting every day. We want suggestions and feedback, how to change the content. Maybe I can't get more hair on my head, but maybe I can wear a different shirt. You know, anything counts. Let us know what you want us to do, and we'll try to make changes. Okay, first story of the day, Magda.
Oh, Tom, it looks like we will have the opportunity to walk along the longest pedestrian bicycle bridge in the world that will be built in Warsaw. It will connect the Vistula Boulevard with Prague and will be 452 meters long. For example, it's longer than the famous London Millennium Bridge, about more than 100 meters.
Yeah, great. I think Warsaw, little one-upmanships, so to speak. So you've got sort of Warsaw trying to really get more economic development into the Praga area of Poland, of Warsaw, across the river. It's not that far away, but the river stops the growth, stops people thinking it's close. This is another way to integrate it. Great area over there. Saska Kempa, for example, the stadium's there, lots of new development going on. So another great thing for Warsaw was, I'm very curious to see what the design will look like. But they're saying, I think by 2024, it'll be up. I think that was right. Anyway, looking forward to it. Should help development further in Praga, other side of Warsaw.
Did you see design plans for this bridge?
No, I think they don't have them yet. They're in the process of putting out a tender. So it's coming out pretty soon. Yeah, should be dramatic. Okay, next story.
Amazon roars Gdańsk Service Center to hire 650 employees, AWS and tech development. Amazon has announced plans to create 650 new jobs in the customer service department in Poland by the end of 2021. The increase in employment is a consequence of the launch of the new Amazon customer service in Gdańsk.
Speaking of that, do you use Allegro or do you use Amazon to buy something online?
More Allegro.
Okay, that's what they're coming. They're coming for you. Amazon trying to get you to shift from Allegro to them. And that's why they've done the local Amazon.
Yeah, they will try to convince me to change
They will. They'll probably get you one day. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, incredible growth of Amazon, of course, globally, everywhere. They're doing huge things in Poland. The Amazon Web Services is growing very fast. Gdańsk is getting lots of the benefits of Amazon growing. This is a new tech development center, a new services center. So good news for Gdańsk, big time, with Amazon kicking in very strong with new growth. Okay, next story.
Long-running feud over Swiss-denominated mortgages nears settlement. Germany's Commerzbank, Portugal's BCP, and France's BNP Paribas all have foreign exchange-denominated mortgage portfolios in Poland, as do domestic lenders such as PKO BP.
Yeah, and this was the story, gosh, it's well over 10 years ago. It keeps going on when these mostly foreign banks were offering Swiss-denominated very low mortgages. So you can have a 1% loan, but in Swiss francs. So they were sort of, you know, not hiding, but sort of offering the potential, but avoiding the currency, or not disclosing enough, they said, the currency risk. So what happened, of course, 10 years ago was the Swiss franc increased hugely against the Polish zloty. So those who had Swiss-denominated mortgages, all of a sudden, boom, they're paying a lot more in zloty. And there was a big uproar, outcrying that, hey, we've been fooled, blah, blah, blah. This is the final, perhaps the final settlement coming on board. It's a huge settlement. There's still fights going on. PKO Bank has said we're in. We'll settle it, but the foreign banks have not agreed to settle it yet. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Currency risk. That's the lesson for today.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
next story.
that's right. Next story about IS Wireless that seeks next $10 million for open mobile system. The development of its latest software-defined 4G and 5G products did not begin until 2016. A year later, IS Wireless secured about $5 million in seed capital from various sources. Can you add something?
Yeah, I think this is a really cool story. Would never have thought about it. But these guys, as you said, they got their $5 million seed funding. Now they're going for the next 10 million. You know how it is when you get your mobile phone, it's locked into one operator. It's Plus or it's Deutsche Telekom or it's Orange, whatever. And switching over to a different provider, you can't do it. They've got you locked in. And what these guys are trying to do is have an open system, like an open office versus Microsoft. Yeah. So they're, of course, going up against these big entrenched global players, but looks like they got something here. So we'll see how that develops. Good news for consumers in competition against the big global corporate guys. Okay, next story.
State-controlled Orlen to take over state-controlled PGNiG. Orlen's CEO Daniel Obajtek explains that it is part of the plan to build a multi-energy concern and consolidate state-owned fuel companies.
Yeah, what he doesn't say, it's also a big plan to save their asses because they're going to be hit very hard on the pollution charges of carbon dioxide, which is going up, up, up. Anyway, interesting story. They're consolidating. They got to get final approval. This is not new news. It just is a final approval. I'm sure they'll get approval because they're state owned and the state's approving it. So it's going to get approval, but they're still going to have to deal with the big polluting point of their business. They're moving towards the green. Again, we've talked about wind energy a lot. We talked about hydrogen a lot. So we'll see more of that coming from these big companies out of Poland. Okay, next story.
KGHM reinstates dividends as copper prices soar. The management board of KGHM has recommended a payment of 300 million zlotys from the profit for 2022 towards dividends. And this is the first dividend after a break of several years. Yeah, that's
so
true.
KGHM got hit pretty hard with really low copper prices and silver prices over the last 4, 5, 6 years. But really has benefited greatly in prices of silver and copper in the last year, both of which have soared. Even in the last 3 or 4 months. I think silver's up 26% in the last 6 to 7 weeks. Anyway, big price increases there. Good news for KGHM shareholders. They did a huge acquisition in Canada 10 years ago. Stock price tanked for a long time. It's back up big time. Almost 100% increase in the stock price in the last year. Go. Okay, next story.
Industry 4.0 will now need a more specialized workforce. Although most manufacturing companies in the world already use data analytics, they rarely use its full potential. Do you agree with that?
I don't know much about that story. So let's go on. Next one.
State of subsidies for startups going global. Several programs are ongoing to support innovative startups who can apply for funding immediately and get support of up to 250,000 zlotys.
Yeah, and I think most people are keeping their eyes on these different subsidy programs. There's kind of free money here, free money there, subsidies, grants, cheap loans, etc. It takes work. There's EU money, but a lot of money floating around, and it's in Eastern Poland, supporting Eastern Poland startups, it's supporting Go Global for Polish companies. Anyway, pockets of a million zlotys here, a million zlotys there. If you're starting a new business, maybe you will, Magda, someday. Keep your eyes open. There's a lot of money out there.
Yeah, I see.
It's easier to find the money than the idea, right?
Yeah. Sometimes it's very easy to have to get the money and not so easy to have an idea in the mind.
Exactly.
You are right. Energy storage gets huge boost from politicians. State-owned public power company PGE has said that in targeting carbon neutrality by 2050, it is planning at least 800 megawatt of energy storage deployments by 2030.
And this was a almost unanimous vote by politicians in the Polish Sejm yesterday to support energy storage. It's a no-brainer. It's easy. We've talked about EV, electric vehicles coming big time. Well, they got to have batteries. They got to have storage. Wind power has a huge storage problem or issue. It has to be resolved. So the battery storage is huge. It's big business. And we'll watch it develop in the next couple of years.
Mm.
Next
Okay.
story.
Thank you, Tom. This is the last story for today. Regional cities winners in office space sector. Office investment transactions reached 605 million euros in the first 3 months of 2021, with deals in regional cities such as Kraków and Wrocław.
Yeah, it's another trend, let's say another evidence of a continuing trend of office development shifting outside Warsaw. It's the first time that there's been more in the regional cities transactions than in Warsaw. We'll see more of it. Perhaps the COVID means that the regional cities are winners. I mean, your city, Wrocław, a winner. Gdańsk, a winner. I mean, smaller towns where people can live an easier life, cheaper life, more pleasant, as opposed to the rat race of Warsaw, are the winners. So interesting to see how that develops. Yeah,
for sure. Thank you. Yeah, that was the last story. Thank you for today.
And I'll just say once again to those listening, if they pop in and out of video, we want feedback, we want suggestions, ideas. Give us suggestions, me or to Magda, how we can improve it, change it, make it exciting and interesting every day. Waiting for your suggestions. Good. See you tomorrow morning, Magda.
See you. Bye-bye.
Great. Bye.